Welcome back. It's hard to see beast mittens, but I've caught a kitten and we're both wearing black today, so there's a lot of camouflage. Anyway, happy Monday, and the great line from Psalm 46 is frequently in my mind, be still and know that I am God. And it's such a tremendous statement. And you've heard me say before how incredibly similar, if not the same, that line is as the first great line of the yoga scriptures that says that yoga or bliss or cosmic union is when the turbulence of the mind is quelled. So it seems to me as though two great civilizations arrived at the same truth, and that truth is available at any point in time, anywhere. But if we were to think about that one line that says, be still and know that I am God, then there is we got to unmute here. Is that the opposite is true? If we're still and we know our God nature, so to speak, then the line might also say, be not still and know that you're not God. So if we consider the implications of a lack of stillness and what happens to the mind that is unstill. So earlier in that psalm, and I won't indulge you too much, but this psalmist, these ancients that wrote these beautiful poems or prayers, I mean, we think, well, they lived 3,000 years ago, and what did they know? They were bright, intelligent human beings that were living full and rich lives and going through all the experiences of consciousness that we go through now. And many of them had extraordinary revelations and put them in these beautiful stories. And so whoever wrote this, maybe it was David, but whoever wrote it, somebody wrote this, and they talked about what can happen to the mind that becomes unstill. Tell me if you can relate to any of this. The waters roar and be troubled, the mountains shake with the swelling. The earth be removed, the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea. These are very turbulent states of consciousness that are being described. Can we modern humans, can you relate to when it feels like your earth is being removed, that the mountains of your consciousness are being driven into the sea, that there are earthquakes of emotion, that there are unsettlements at the deepest sense of your being? We all know these states of consciousness, and so did whoever wrote this so long ago. And he's telling a story of the different states of consciousness that we go through, but he keeps affirming over and over again, God is in the midst of her, in the midst of you, and shall not be moved, that we will be helped. And it concludes with the great line that be still and know that I am God. So the wisdom implanted in that poem that simply says that the trials and the turbulence and the tribulations that we go through, the extraordinary tests, are movements of our mind, and that the answer remains consistent throughout all time and space for all points of consciousness that are separated and troubled and worried and fearful, and all the conditions that assail humanity, that assail each and every one of us. And it gives the answer plain and clear: be still and know that you're God. Now, I'm going to leave it up to you to wrestle with, what does it mean when it says, be still and know that I am God? Does that mean that you're God? Does that mean that you have a relationship with God? Does that mean that you know God in a way that is personal and intimate? Does it mean that you are God and that you forgot? I mean, I believe I could give you some ideas on it, but I think if you will wrestle with this thought throughout the week and be still, when you're perfectly still, and it says that you know that you are God, what are the implications of that? What does that mean? Now, in the model that I use, we have a big self and a small self. We have our mortal coil, and it's easy to forget ourselves into that. But concurrent with that at all times is our infinite self, our God self. And so at all times, we are certainly that aspect of ourselves, but we certainly can shrivel and be dissuaded and lose that experience. So be still and know that you're God this week. If your mountains are moving into the sea and the earth is trembling and the heathen is raging inside of you, as it happens to all of us, we can be glad that we're meditators and that we practice the stillness, because the more of this stillness that we cultivate and implant and embed inside of us, these problems, they may appear, but they can't last. They will be superseded by the truth with great immediacy. And that's a great promise. Let's live it. I'll see you tomorrow.